Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, money just slips through your fingers? Like you're running on a treadmill, faster and faster, but never getting ahead? What if I told you that money is listening? That it responds to clear, confident commands, just like a loyal friend? Yes, your money can multiply forever. And it starts with one thing, your command. Imagine planting a tiny seed. You water it, care for it, and over time, it grows into a tree so massive, it gives shade, fruit, and continues to grow year after year. Your money works the same way. But most people, they treat it like a coin in their pocket, small, temporary, expendable. Here's the secret. Speak with authority. Say it aloud. I command my money to multiply. I command abundance to flow freely to me. Feel the words. Believe the words. Act like it's already happening. Think about someone you know who is financially free. They didn't get there by luck. They got there by intention. By commanding their resources, their time, their actions, and yes, their money, toward growth. Every rupee, every dollar, every investment, it's listening. Are you feeding it doubt, fear, hesitation? Or are you commanding it with clarity, faith, and consistency? Here's an example. Imagine you invest $100 today. You nurture it, you make smart choices, and you keep repeating your command daily. Over time, that $100 grows to $1,000, $10,000, even more. Compounding doesn't care about your past mistakes. It only listens to your command today. Now ask yourself, am I willing to speak to my money with the same love, care, and authority I speak to my own dreams? Because your words have power. Your intention has power. Your command has power. Here are some key points related to this. Money responds to clear, confident commands, not hesitation. Treat money like a seed, nurture it, and it will grow exponentially. Speak your commands aloud with faith, clarity, and consistency. Financial freedom comes from intention and mastery, not luck. Every dollar invested compounds when guided by belief and action. Wealth multiplies forever when you combine words, intention, and consistent effort. Imagine holding a coin in your hand. It's small, shiny, seemingly insignificant. Most people see it and think, it's just a coin. Not much I can do with this. But what if I told you that coin, that tiny piece of metal, could become the foundation of something much bigger? That its potential is limitless. But only if you command it with intention. Money, like life, responds to clarity and confidence. It doesn't grow when you whisper doubts or entertain hesitation. It grows when you speak with authority, when you declare your intention and refuse to waver. Think about a child learning to walk. The first steps are shaky, uncertain, but when the child decides, truly decides to move forward, every muscle, every nerve, every ounce of energy aligns with that decision. That is the power of a clear command. Money reacts in the same way. If you tell it timidly, it lingers. If you demand it boldly, with conviction, it moves. Picture someone you know who suddenly seems to have money flowing effortlessly into their life. Did it happen by chance? Rarely. It happened because they made a decision and commanded their resources toward that reality. I remember a story of a friend who was struggling to pay his bills. He had debts piling up, and every day felt heavier than the last. One morning, he stopped everything and said aloud, I command my money to find me. I command my income to multiply. I command abundance into my life now. It felt strange at first, almost silly. But he didn't stop there. He acted on it. He looked for opportunities he had ignored before. He offered his skills in ways he hadn't considered. Within months, new clients appeared, projects multiplied, and bills that seemed impossible to pay suddenly were covered. It wasn't magic. It was the combination of a clear command and aligned action. The moment he spoke with authority, the universe, in its mysterious ways, began responding. Picture it as water in a riverbed. If the banks are unclear, the water trickles, spilling randomly, wasted energy, lost potential. But if the banks are carved with precision, the water rushes powerfully, directing energy where it matters. Money, when commanded, flows like that river. Hesitation and doubt create leaks, slowdowns, missed chances. Confidence and clarity carve channels that direct the flow exactly where you need it. You can start small. Even telling yourself, I command my money to work for me. In front of the mirror every morning shifts something deep inside. It rewires your brain, your belief system, and sets the stage for action. Every small act of authority, every spoken command, is like planting a flag on the mountain you intend to climb. You are declaring ownership. You are signaling that your finances are no longer random. They are under your guidance, under your will. When you truly understand this, it changes everything. You begin to see opportunities that others miss, doors that others think are closed. You start thinking in multiples, in growth, in expansion rather than scarcity. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, your money begins to obey your command, responding to the clarity and confidence you've finally chosen to wield. It is not about luck. It is about intention made visible, spoken into the world, and reinforced by action. Imagine a tiny seed in your hand. It's fragile, almost insignificant. If you drop it on dry, cracked soil, it might never sprout. But if you plant it carefully, cover it with rich earth, water it, and give it sunlight, it begins a transformation. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a tiny green shoot emerges, reaching upward, bending toward the light, growing stronger day by day. That is exactly how money works when treated with care and intention. Most people look at money as something fleeting, something to spend quickly or worry about constantly. They toss it around without thought, as if it were sand slipping through their fingers. But the ones who understand its power treat it like a seed, knowing that with nurturing, attention, and patience, it can grow into something far beyond imagination. I think of a friend who inherited a small sum of money, enough to barely feel secure, but not enough to feel wealthy. Instead of spending it all immediately, he made a choice. He put a portion into an investment, another into learning a new skill, and the rest into small projects he believed in. Every month he monitored, adjusted, and reinvested. At first it felt slow. There were moments of doubt, moments when the temptation to spend recklessly whispered in his ear. But he persisted, and 5 years later, that small inheritance had multiplied tenfold. He often says, "I treated every rupee like a seed. I didn't just spend, I cultivated." That simple perspective changed everything. Money became alive to him. It responded to care and intention. Picture your own finances as a garden. Each rupee is a seed. Some are small, some are large, but all have potential. If you throw them randomly into the wind, nothing will grow. If you carefully plant, water, and protect them, the harvest can be extraordinary. Every decision, how you spend, save, invest, acts as sunlight or rain. Every act of awareness feeds growth. Scarcity, fear, and impulsive choices are like weeds, choking potential before it has a chance to bloom. Even everyday examples illustrate this principle. Think about someone who budgets carefully, invests intelligently, and tracks every expense. At first, the results are modest, almost invisible. But over time, compounding takes over, multiplying every small action. A $5, $10, or $50 decision today, treated wisely, becomes hundreds or thousands in the future. It's the power of nurturing the seed, of understanding that money, like life, grows when it is respected and intentionally guided. I often tell people to visualize it. Imagine a small sapling in a storm. If you leave it exposed, it bends, it breaks, it may vanish. But if you stake it, protect it, guide it toward sunlight, it bends with the wind, survives, and grows stronger. That is what careful financial attention does. It allows your money to survive uncertainty, to endure challenges, and to expand beyond what you thought possible. Treat money as a seed, and it will reward you endlessly, quietly, and relentlessly. The difference between the wealthy and the rest is rarely luck. It is the patience, the care, and the consistency with which they tend their financial garden. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking at yourself and saying, "I command my money to work for me." At first, it might feel strange, almost silly, like talking to an invisible force. But there is a power in spoken words that most people underestimate. Words carry energy. Words carry intention. And when combined with belief, they begin to shape reality in ways subtle at first, but profound over time. Think of the first time you told yourself, "I can do this," before a test, a presentation, or a big challenge. That simple declaration changed how you moved, how you acted, how you thought. Speaking to your money works the same way. The moment you say it with conviction, you set a chain reaction into motion. I remember a young woman who was barely making ends meet. She had debts, bills, and a feeling of constant stress. One evening, frustrated and tired, she spoke aloud. I command my money to find me. I command abundance to flow freely into my life. The first few days, nothing seemed to change, and she almost laughed at herself for trying. But then she noticed small shifts. A client paid a little earlier than expected. A forgotten refund arrived. An opportunity she hadn't seen before appeared. She repeated her command every morning, every evening, and she paired it with decisive action. Applying for new contracts, reaching out to contacts, learning new skills. Months later, her financial situation had transformed. She often says, "Speaking it aloud made it real for me. My money listened because I decided to speak clearly without hesitation." Picture your words as the conductor of an orchestra. The instruments, your money, are capable of incredible harmony, but only if someone guides them with precision. If you whisper or mutter, the music is weak, scattered. If you speak with clarity and confidence, the orchestra responds, creating a symphony of abundance. Every spoken command, every declaration, is like a baton directing the flow of your finances. Even small daily practices can create massive change. Take someone who sets aside a few minutes every morning to affirm, "Money flows to me easily and abundantly." At first, it feels repetitive, almost mechanical, but the brain begins to absorb it. It begins to notice opportunities that were previously invisible. You start making choices aligned with abundance rather than scarcity. A sale you might have missed suddenly clicks into place. A freelance gig you didn't think of appears in your inbox. Your awareness sharpens because your command primes your mind, your actions, and your focus. Think about it like lighting a fire. You can have all the wood in the world, but without a spark, nothing happens. Your words are the spark, your belief is the kindling, and your actions feed the flames. Together, they create heat, light, and energy that can transform your life. People who understand this principle don't wait for luck. They don't hope for windfalls. They speak, act, and align, commanding their money to move with intention. And over time, it obeys. When you start speaking to your money, you stop seeing it as something passive or external. It becomes a partner, a force that responds to clarity, conviction, and consistency. You realize that wealth isn't something that happens to you. It is something you actively create, command, and nurture, day after day. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, watching the water flow. Some people see the current and think, "I can't control that. It's too fast. It's unpredictable." Others, the ones who understand, build a small channel, guide the flow, and suddenly the river becomes a source of power, energy, and abundance. Your money works in the same way. Every rupee, every dollar, every resource you have listens, but it listens best when guided by intention and aligned action. Think about someone who complains about not having enough, yet never takes steps to organize, invest, or direct what they already possess. Their money drifts like a leaf on the water, going wherever the current takes it. But when you combine command with action, everything changes. I remember a man who inherited a modest sum from his family. At first, he was content to leave it in a savings account, hoping it would somehow grow on its own. Months passed and the growth was minimal. Then one day, he realized that money doesn't grow by itself, it responds to action. He started researching investments, small businesses, and ways to multiply what he already had. He began taking decisive steps every day, from meeting financial advisors to carefully budgeting and reinvesting profits. He paired this action with a simple, clear command. "I direct this money to grow for me, steadily, endlessly, and wisely." Within a year, his modest inheritance had begun to multiply significantly. The combination of intention, spoken command, and aligned action created momentum. Picture a gardener planting seeds. You can bless the seeds with every positive thought in the world, but if you never water them, never pull the weeds, never give them sunlight, they will wither. The gardener's work is action. The blessing is intention. Money is the same. The universe provides opportunities, but they only manifest when you act. Every payment you make, every investment you consider, Every new opportunity you pursue becomes a channel for your command to flow. Without action, command is like a song without melody, a spark without fuel, a seed without soil. Even small acts matter. Paying off a small debt, making a smart purchase, saving a little extra each month, reaching out to someone with a business idea. All these actions signal to your money that you are serious, that you are committed. They transform abstract intention into tangible reality. Think of a friend of mine who wanted to build a side business. She spoke her intentions daily, affirming her wealth would grow. But she also worked on creating products, reaching out to clients, learning marketing, and budgeting her time. Within months, her business began earning more than her full-time job. The magic wasn't in wishing. It was in pairing command with consistent, deliberate action. When you realize this, your relationship with money shifts. You stop waiting passively for windfalls. You stop blaming circumstances. Instead, you learn to direct, guide, and grow every resource you have. Your money becomes a responsive ally, amplifying your actions, multiplying what you nurture, and responding to your clarity and consistency. It's no longer random. It's intentional. It's alive. It's obeying your command when you pair it with deliberate action, transforming potential into tangible abundance, slowly but inevitably, like a river carving its path through solid rock. Imagine standing in a crowded marketplace. Everywhere you look, there are opportunities, some obvious, some hidden, some disguised as challenges. Most people walk past them, distracted, unsure, or doubting. But the ones who prosper see the invisible threads connecting their actions, their decisions, and their money. They understand that every rupee, every dollar, every small investment has the power to grow if guided with patience, consistency, and faith. Compounding doesn't care about how much you start with. It only responds to your attention and intent over time. I recall the story of a man named Ahmed. He started with just a few $100s, barely enough to feel secure. Instead of spending it impulsively, he decided to treat it like a living entity, a partner in his journey. Every week, he put aside a portion into a small investment, another portion into learning new skills, and kept a part for daily needs. At first, the growth was slow, almost imperceptible. Months passed, and it would have been easy to feel discouraged. But he repeated his command daily. I direct my money to multiply, steadily and abundantly. He believed it. He acted on it. Slowly, the money began to respond. The small investments generated returns, the skills he acquired opened new doors, and the tiny actions he took compounded into something substantial. 5 years later, that modest start had transformed into financial freedom. Think of it as planting a tree. You don't expect a sapling to provide shade or bear fruit immediately. It takes time. It takes care. It takes repeated attention and nurturing. Each drop of water, each bit of sunlight, each protective measure contributes to the growth. Money works the same way. Each wise decision, each thoughtful investment, each intentional command, is like nurturing that sapling. You might not see results immediately, but with consistency, it grows quietly, powerfully, and invisibly until one day, the harvest is undeniable. Even everyday choices matter. Paying off small debts on time, saving a little extra each week, reinvesting returns. These actions may seem minor, but they create a compounding effect. Imagine if every small choice you made added a drop to a growing river. At first, it is barely noticeable. But over time, the river swells, flowing powerfully, unstoppable, creating opportunities and abundance that once seemed impossible. I know someone who treated every payment, every savings deposit, and every business decision like this. She started with almost nothing. Years later, her small, consistent actions had multiplied into wealth she never imagined possible, simply because she respected the process, understood the power of compounding, and paired it with intention. Picture your money as a snowball on a hill. Small at first, almost unnoticeable, but as it rolls down, it picks up mass, momentum, and speed. The initial effort is minimal, but the compounded growth becomes unstoppable. The secret isn't in luck or chance. It's in patience, care, consistency, and the unwavering belief that your money, when treated wisely, has the power to grow far beyond what you imagine. Compounding rewards the patient, the disciplined, the intentional, and those who command their money with clarity and conviction. Imagine a musician tuning an instrument before a performance. Each string must be tightened just right, each note carefully adjusted. Only then does the instrument sing with clarity, power, and beauty. Wealth works in the same way. You cannot simply wish for it and hope it manifests. You cannot rely on luck or circumstance alone. You must combine your words, your intention, and your consistent action. Only then does your money respond fully, growing steadily, multiplying indefinitely, and becoming a force that supports your life in ways you may never have imagined. I think of a friend who struggled for years, living paycheck to paycheck. She had ambition, she had talent, but she lacked a clear system. One day, she decided to take control. She started speaking her commands aloud every morning. Money flows to me easily. My wealth multiplies continuously. I accept abundance with gratitude. At first, it felt awkward, almost silly, but she paired her affirmations with decisive action. She reviewed her budget, invested in her skills, reached out to mentors, and applied herself to new opportunities. Slowly, the results appeared. First, small wins, a timely payment, a new freelance client, then bigger opportunities, and over time, her financial landscape transformed completely. She often says, "Speaking it, believing it, and acting on it every day made my money my ally." It wasn't random, it was intentional. Picture a sculptor chiseling a block of marble. At first, it seems immovable, unyielding, and perhaps impossible to shape. Each strike must be purposeful, deliberate, and patient. Gradually, a beautiful form emerges, powerful and precise. Wealth is sculpted the same way. Your words are the intent, your actions are the chisels, and your consistency is the rhythm that shapes abundance. Ignore any of these elements, and the block remains just a block. Combine them, and your financial life becomes art, multiplying in ways that seem almost magical, yet are rooted in discipline and clarity. Even the smallest steps matter. A person who regularly affirms their financial intentions, tracks spending, reinvests returns, and seeks opportunities for growth is like someone rolling a small snowball down a hill. At first, it barely moves, but with consistent effort and clear command, it grows, picking up momentum, size, and force. Soon, it becomes unstoppable, a rolling abundance that multiplies far beyond initial expectations. The combination of spoken command, deliberate action, and unwavering belief triggers a chain reaction that reshapes reality itself. Consider also the unseen effects. When you command your money to multiply forever, paired with consistent action, it influences not only your finances but your mindset. You start noticing opportunities others miss, making better decisions, and thinking in terms of growth instead of scarcity. Your energy shifts, your confidence rises, and suddenly, you're in alignment with abundance. The universe doesn't resist a person who is intentional, who commands clearly, who acts consistently. Money, opportunity, and success begin to respond naturally to that alignment. The truth is, wealth isn't an accident. It isn't random luck or mere chance. It is the result of deliberate words, clear commands, consistent action, and unwavering belief. Combine these elements, and your money begins to multiply not just for a moment or a year, but continuously, steadily, forever, responding to your intention and commitment, expanding in ways you may never have imagined, as if the universe itself is aligning to obey your command. Now listen closely, because this is the moment where everything changes. From this moment on, your money is not just numbers on a screen. It is energy. It is potential. It is listening. And it responds to your command. Say it with me in your mind. I command my money to multiply. I command abundance to flow to me. I command wealth to grow, now endlessly forever. Say it again. Feel it in your chest. Feel it in your hands. Feel it in your life. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't tell yourself, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow belongs to those who act today. Every second you delay is a moment your money could have been working for you. Every doubt you nurture is a brick in the wall between you and your abundance. Tear that wall down. Speak. Act. Command. Multiply. Repeat after me one last time. I command my money. I command my life. I command my future. I command my dreams. And I receive it now. Because here's the truth. Money, opportunities, and abundance do not wait. They respond to clarity. They respond to intention. They respond to those who decide. Decide now. Decide today. Decide forever. Remember this. When you speak with authority, when you act with courage, when you command with belief, your money does not resist. It multiplies. Your life expands. Your dreams become inevitable. And the only thing standing between you and unstoppable abundance is you. So take your hand, take your voice, take your power. Speak it. Own it. Command it. Multiply it. And never forget. Your support means everything. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe, and remember this. Wealth obeys the voice that commands it. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.